Energy comes from many different places. Those who practice Reiki believe that their energy comes from trees, starts at the root and is released out through the branches and leaves. Reiki is a hands-on type of healing. It is often referred to in the West as a spiritually guided life force energy.
There's a flow from my hands to the back of your head.
Reiki means, it's Japanese, and it means universal energy. And Reiki is scientifically a part of the electromagnetic spectrum. And so it's a frequency of vibration that we can tap into. It's that energy that is vibrant in all of us. We wouldn't be alive if we did not channel or house Reiki.
Reiki was discovered by Dr. Uzui, who was the dean of a Christian school in the late 1800s in Japan. He was assisted by Dr. Hayashi. It was brought to the West by Mrs. Hawaii Takata.
Traditionally, there are 3 levels of Reiki taught. The first level is a student or practitioner level where we do 4 initiations or attunements and accessing the energy. The second degree or second level is where we teach the symbols and work with the symbols that are involved with Reiki. These symbols came to Dr. Uzui when he first rediscovered access to the energy. And the third level is a teacher or master level where we go through the ways of how you attune people. We do that through sound and through breath and through visualization, and actually accessing the energy ourselves as Reiki masters and transferring it. So you learn how to be a teacher.
Elizabeth Blakely is the owner of Radiant Health. She practices microbiotic cooking, meditation, yoga, massage therapy, Reiki, and teaches Reiki. After several tragedies in her life, she went to a medical conference. She found something that changed her life.
I needed healing for injuries, car accident injuries. I had some debilitation in my neck and in my shoulders, whiplash from 2 car accidents, and I couldn't get any relief from any kinds of traditional means. So I went to a humanistic psychology conference in Washington, D.C., which that year was a smorgasbord of natural healing arts. And actually just heard about Reiki the night I left there. I was there for 2 weeks studying various forms of hands-on healing, but felt at the end of it all that I hadn't zoned in on what was right for me. The last night there, I met a gentleman in the lobby of the university, and he said, "You look really tired. Would you like some energy?" And I said, "Yes." And so he put his hands on my head and my shoulders and in the back of my head and over the solar plexus area. And immediately I felt myself just flowing into peace and relaxation and lots of energy. And I asked him what he did, and he said it was Reiki that he was doing.
After Blakely experienced Reiki, she was overwhelmed and sought out a teacher to help her learn more about how Reiki could heal her.
I met somebody in the area who was a Reiki master, and I signed up for the class immediately. And during the class, the healing immediately began in my neck and shoulders during the attunements that we did. So it was phenomenal. Within a month, I self-treated, and within a month, I had healed myself of all my pain and injuries.
Blakely had the opportunity to travel to Jerusalem with her husband. There, she was fortunate to find a Reiki master. She wrote a book about her experience there.
I took my first 2 levels in Trenton, and then I went over there to live. And lo and behold, this little seaside resort that I ended up spending my first year at near the Lebanese border, I met a person who was a Reiki master, and she taught me the master level there. So that was by chance, really. But being there, I realized what a huge opportunity I had to access the energy in a powerful way.
Athletic therapist Brian Dunham has level 1 Reiki. He still prefers more scientific ways of healing. However, in some cases, Dunham does use it in his sessions and finds it helpful.
My opinion of Reiki is I've used it in treatments. I use it to help sort of ready the patient for other techniques, other manual techniques. I think it's a useful technique. Again, for myself, if someone rolls over on an ankle out on the basketball court, my first line of defense is ice compression, elevate, and get that taken care of, and then work on specific injury, whether it's a ligament, whether it's a muscle. Whether or not in a case like that I would use Reiki, normally not, but more so the ultrasound, interferential, more traditional types of therapies. I think it's more of a chronic state that the Reiki comes into play with, and for myself, that's what I use it for too. So if someone's got a low back problem that's been bothering them for months or years, then there's a lot of restrictions in the muscles, in the myofascial layers, in the energy flow. So you can use that at that point to work on that.
Nurse Lauren Dissette works at the health center at Loyalist College. She also prefers more traditional methods of medicine, but is open to what Reiki can offer to those who would benefit from it.
I think with Western medicine that we're using here, a lot of medications and surgeries and stuff like that, it's good to have that, but we should be looking more at holistic medicine. So using Reiki and other forms of relaxation, energy channeling and whatnot to help with the Western medicine tactics that we use. We can use them both together and you probably get better results.
Reiki follows a very natural and spiritual aspect. Gisette thinks if people open up, then it could help them more in their healing process.
I think if people can get more in tune with themselves and that kind of spirituality, not the spooky spirituality, but more inner peace, yes, I believe in that.
During my visit with Reiki Master Elizabeth Blakely, I had the opportunity to experience a Reiki session. At first, I was very skeptical, but by the end of the session, I was a believer. Initially, I didn't know what to expect going into the session. Having had a massage, I knew the routine. The session started off with a few questions to relax me. She placed her hands on my head and then on my neck and explained everything that she was doing. She moved all the way down my body and said that my energy was flowing, which would make the session easier. As her hands moved over my head and body, she applied no pressure. When she reached my shoulders, I could feel my tensions disappear as the muscles in my body started to relax, while she transferred her energy to me. She moved to treat my arms and then to my stomach. I questioned her as I was unsure how I was supposed to be feeling. The biggest wonder was when she reached my ankles and they started to heat up incredibly. She said that I needed more energy there and held her hands there longer. I then moved on to my stomach and she repeated the process on my back. When she was done, she swept me off with a feather to get rid of any extra energy that might have been present. When it was over, I felt lightheaded, but very relaxed and peaceful. In today's society, modern medicine continues to break through with new discoveries, but alternative methods of treatment can also be beneficial when we take the time to look into the past.